you grow up with your mother, your father, or both?
I grew up with both.
My mother, I grew up with.
I grew up with my mother and father.
Was that living together, or was that living apart?
We lived together as one family.
I grew up with both up to the age of, I think it was 13 that my mother left my father. But saying that, all my life, they never really got on, shall we say.
Which race gave you the most problems?
I've had problems from both sides, for everybody. But is that a race thing or is that a personality thing? But, or who I am? I'm not saying there's trouble every time, but you know, you get certain aspects of one people against certain aspects of different things.
Okay, the race who gave me the most problem? It's a tough one, that one, because I never seen it as a problem. I think like it was more like I knew it was something that was different with us as kids. I knew it was like we were getting treated like a little bit differently, but it wasn't words where like we didn't get like treated or called name. My mother did, but not us as kids. It was more like the attitude of people. We could see like the way they were looking at us, or you know, yeah, the body language was different.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah, I would say the Caucasians.
I would say no race gave me problems. I can't blame anyone apart from myself for problems. I'd say I felt more comfortable with black people and people who are Jamaican origin, rather than, say, mixing with a group of white people.
And what was that? Why was that a problem?
Colour, basically. Even my best friends, I mean, when I was young, my best friends were all white. And even some of them sometimes used to give me a hard time with my colour of my skin, you know, but that's how it was in them days.
So you mentioned there about your mother.
Mm-hmm.
What was the kind of stuff you heard as a child from people towards your mother, for example?
The word nigger.
Okay.
Which you know, which to this day I hate. Like even like I don't get it when black people say, oh, we can call each other that because it's, you know, it's our word. Like I know it comes from slavery and it was a word that was used like as a normal word, sorry. But for me, I just found it really offensive, maybe because of like the fact my mother was called that name and I saw it as, you know, degrading, or, you know, I knew it was a bad word.
So I don't think anybody gave, I think my problem's due to normal, you know, childhood behaviour and the stages that you go through as a child. I wouldn't blame it on colour, so to speak.
So what are the meanest things people have said to you?
The usual, half-breed, mulatto or something like that. Milkshake, that's one other, which is like, what? That's a new one. Bounty bar or something like that. Anything, you know what I mean? It's always a little dig or something.
That was dirty. Yeah, I think that was the meanest one. Like, you know, I wasn't called name or, you know, yeah, I think that was the main thing.
Oh, I've been called a packy, nigger, basically all the words you can think of. I mean, I even went out with a white girl once years ago. She even used to call me a black this and a black that sometimes. She was half Irish. And that was like in the early 80s. So, yeah, it's all that, mate.
Why are you that colour? Who do you think, or why are you that colour? What are you, black or white? Where do you think you belong? What are you doing? Where are you? But the main one is why are you that colour? It was, why are you that colour? And that was from a very young age.
Well, how does it make me feel? Well, if you're gonna give it, I'm gonna give you something back. So if you can't take it, then don't give it.
I felt really hurt. I would say really hurt, and because I didn't understand what it meant. Because for me, I didn't saw myself as dirty, so I didn't really like. I started to believe that my color was, not nice in a way.
Because it was back in the 70s, it was a lot of it I had to just accept. To be truthful, I don't think I ever did actually react in a violent way to anyone. Back in those days, I don't know why, but I used to take it, a lot of it.
I remember the first response, it was at a children's party, and I didn't know what to say. And my friend turned around, all the girls sitting there, whose party it was, who I'd been invited to. She's very tanned, that's why she's that colour. And I just didn't know what to say, and I just said nothing, and that was from a junior school, very young age. And growing up, people would say, what do you think, what are you, black or white? And I'd be like, well, I'm neither. They put you, children can be horrible as well as beautiful.
So what are some of the stereotypes about being biracial?
You get, how can I say, right, say like you've got the skin tone mentality, like say Jamaica, you'd call it the browning, and then you'd have people with negative stereotypation of that because they think they will get the job and they will get this or whatever like that, and then people will look down. So, but then is that a class? Is that a class or is that race? You could say.
Oh, the main one I think is the word exotic. I just think it's just, I don't know, it just bothers me because it doesn't mean anything to be exotic, It's just like, and when it could be used by white or black people, and for me that means they don't accept or they don't, they don't know what it's like to be mixed race. It's like exotic, I don't know, it's just a weird word. I know it's not I know it's not meant in a bad way, but it's just a bit, like patronizing because they don't know what to say, so they say exotic. Not to say black, not to say white, because they don't know, so they say exotic.
Okay.
I don't know about, but I do remember an incident at school once. A black friend that was supposed to be a friend of mine, he said, see you mixed race people, you half breeds. He said, you don't belong to anyone. You don't belong to the blacks, you don't belong to the whites. If they had to choose, you'd be on your own in the middle because you don't belong to either of them. So that is the only thing I can actually remember.
Stereotypes, I'm not sure, because I don't think I fit into anything. I don't think there is a stereotype of biracial because it's a lot to do with how you're brought up. You do have some biracials who are brought up in the white community, in the English community, and are very English. Then you have people like me who are brought up in the Jamaican communities, who I associate more, my friends are more Jamaican. It's whether or not, again, it's really not to do with, I don't think it's to do with colour, it's to do with your first 10 years of life and what you are seeing in your first 2 years of life, who you are close to in your first few years of life. My first couple of years, I was very close to my eldest sister, Audrey, not my mum, very close to Audrey, who I think brought me up for the first few years. She was the eldest. And so therefore I've got literally a motherly bond with her to this day. So I think it's a lot to do with who, as a child, you have, you've got relationships with that then come on in later life, who you are able to get on with in later life.